Happening now, breaking news. President Trump's fury using obscene language as he rails against both Israel and Iran. Welcome to our viewers here in the United States and around the world. I'm Wolf Blitzer. Pamela Brown is off today, and you're in the Situation Room.
This is CNN Breaking News.
And we begin this hour with the breaking news. A furious President Trump delivers a stern message to friends and foes alike that neither Israel nor Iran can violate the ceasefire he brokered between them. We want to warn our viewers, the president drops the F-bomb right here. Listen.
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I've never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
The president is clearly frustrated that both countries have launched attacks that jeopardize the ceasefire. Iranian state media is saying Israel struck Tehran. Our reporter on the ground there saw anti-aircraft fire lighting up the sky over the Iranian capital. Before the ceasefire took effect, Israel warned of 6 incoming waves of Iranian missiles. One got through and struck residential buildings in Beersheba in southern Israel, killing at least 4 people in those buildings. We have a team of correspondents and analysts from around the world following all the late-breaking developments for us. Let's begin with CNN senior White House correspondent Kristen Holmes. She's in the Netherlands. That's where the president is headed for the upcoming NATO summit. Kristen, the president was very clearly unhappy with Israel, and Iran seemed to be more unhappy with Israel than Iran. What more are you learning?
Yeah, that's right, Wolf. He was more unhappy with Israel than Iran. You heard him there, very angry, talking about how Israel shouldn't do this, asking them not to let go of any more bombs because he believed that they had violated this ceasefire, and he believed that the onus was on them. And we were told that he did reach Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu shortly after this statement, and then he posted this on Truth Social. He said, Israel is not going to attack Iran. All planes will turn around and head home while doing a friendly, quote, plane wave to Iran. Nobody will be hurt, and the ceasefire is in effect. And we were told by the White House that he was exceptionally firm with Netanyahu. You have to remember, well, they really want this to work, they being the White House. This is a signature part of what he believes ultimately his legacy will be, and the first step in getting what he wants to be an Iran nuclear deal. So this is a key component of that, is getting this ceasefire to take place. We also had confirmation from the Prime Minister's office saying that they did strike one radar of Iran's, but then after Netanyahu spoke to Donald Trump, that there will be no more bombs.
I want to find out a bit more right now about the president's very stern call with the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu just a little while ago as the ceasefire was hanging in the balance. CNN political and global affairs analyst Barak Ravid is joining us right now. He's also a global affairs correspondent for Axios. Barak, thanks so much for joining us. I want to read what the president posted on his Truth Social site earlier this morning after cursing out both Israel and Iran. He wrote this, and I'm quoting Trump. Israel is not going to attack Iran. All planes will turn around and head home while doing a friendly plane wave to Iran. Nobody will be hurt. The ceasefire is in effect. Barak, what did you learn about that conversation between Trump and Netanyahu that led to that post?
Hi, Wolf. According to Israeli news official, this call was pretty difficult. One U.S. official told me Trump was very direct and firm with what he told Netanyahu. He basically told Netanyahu abort mission. And Netanyahu, according to Israeli officials, told the president, look, I can't abort mission. The Iranians violated the ceasefire. They fired the missile. I have to do something. So at the end, Netanyahu told Trump that he's going to scale back this attack, and from a list of a dozen targets, many of them in the center of Tehran, at the end, the IDF struck one target, one radar outside of Tehran, which I think it's a pretty unprecedented thing that, you know, the President of the United States goes out in public calling on Israel to abort mission, and Israel doesn't. I think it's quite extraordinary. And if if there's one thing that showed us how angry Donald Trump was, is that he used this morning on camera the F word in the context of the Israel-Iran war. And we remember, when is the last time Donald Trump used the F word about Benjamin Netanyahu? So I think it shows how angry and frustrated he was.
Do we know what came first, that Iranian strike on that residential apartment building in Beersheba that killed 4 Israelis, or the Israeli strikes that took place in Tehran?
So as far as I understand, according to the sequence of things, the Israeli strikes in Tehran happened before, and the Iranian missile strikes happened afterwards. But according to the timeline that President Trump himself laid out, both were still before the ceasefire came into effect. I think what created the problem was that the Iranians fired the missile one time 6 minutes into the ceasefire. Let's say, that's borderline. But the second time they fired a missile 3 hours into the ceasefire. And while the missile was intercepted, didn't hit anything, it was still, something that Israel saw as a violation and threatened to strike in retaliation in the center of Tehran.
In a statement after the phone call with the president, Prime Minister Netanyahu's office said this, and I'm quoting, "In the conversation, President Trump expressed his great appreciation for Israel, which achieved all of its objectives for the war, as well as his confidence in the stability of the ceasefire." End quote. What objectives is Israel claiming it achieved during the course of the last 12 days?
So I think there's no doubt that Israel achieved almost completely its 2 main objectives, which were, number one, destroying the Iranian nuclear program. I think the program, even if it's not 100% destroyed, it has been severely damaged, and it would take the Iranians a long time to bring this program back to a place where they can even try to produce a nuclear weapon. The other thing is the Iranian ballistic missile program. While the Israelis set out an ambitious goal of, removing this threat completely, they did not. But they, I think, degraded Iranian ballistic missile capabilities significantly. At least 50%, maybe even 60% of Iran's launchers were destroyed. A lot of Iran's ballistic missile production lines have been destroyed, and Iran is in a different place on its ballistic missile capability today.
Let me just get a final quick answer from you, Barak. You agree with me that President Trump seemed more anti-Israel than he was anti-Iranian in his public remarks this morning?
I don't know if he was anti-Israel, but he was definitely putting the onus on the Israeli side. There is no doubt about it.
Yeah, much more than the Iranian side. All right, Barak Ravid reporting for us. Thank you very, very much.